Welcome, Bridgewater. We're so thankful that you joined us today as we celebrate all that God has done, and we look forward to what God is going to do in this coming year. Before we dive into more serious things, though, it's time to look back at where we've come from with some bloopers.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridgewater.
So if you're new here, please text 570 oh, shoot, that's my phone number.
Awesome research. Research. Reese, we're off to a great start. I want to tell you about... Wowzer!
They will be able to share your questions or direct you to someone who will. Wait, I said share, not answer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridgewater. I feel like I'm saying Bridgewater weird. Check the app and head to online.
Hearing myself talk. Okay, I'm kidding, but not really.
Coming up soon, it's just gonna get worse from here.
And please find someone wearing a blue and white name tag. They'll be so happy to help you, it's almost weird. Thanks for celebrating with us today.
Happy Labor...
No.
So here's your recap. Register your 4th or 5th grader for Emerge 4-5.
An event called Vibe for high school seniors. An event called Vibe for high school seniors? Nope. Yes, that was right. High school seniors.
Leo, Al, Little Mo with the gimpy leg, Bony Bob, Cliff. And they look at Cliff and he's, it's a lie.
Where's the... Oh, it's when I actually say. That's my cue because I say it. Nice, Lane.
Get my calf muscles. Come on, that's the only good part of me right there.
Look at those muscles.
That's it, that's all I got.
Y'all ready for this? Okay. Blooper. Oh, it's gonna be used, isn't it?
Hey, Bridgewater, we are so excited to worship with you. Would you join us?
Saturday was silent, and surely it was through. But since when has impossible ever stopped you? And Friday's disappointment, Sunday's empty tomb. But since when has impossible ever stopped you?
This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the praise, make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Hello, Bridgewater family. My name is Brett, and I am the interim lead pastor at Bridgewater Church. 2 years ago, we held our last celebration service. I remember it well. We looked back at the previous 4 years, and we celebrated all that God had done over those years. We had a stage covered in flowers representing those God had saved and individuals who had taken their next step of baptism. That night, we had 332 red flowers on stage representing all those who would become followers of Jesus during that period of 4 years. And we had 263 white flowers representing those who had been baptized. That service seems like 10 years ago. There has been a lot that has happened since that service in the fall of 2019. Now, I don't want to focus on the negative situations in our world or our country or even the difficulties this season has brought to Bridgewater or churches like ours, but I would like to focus on what God has been doing these last 2 years. Since we last met for a celebration service, we have seen God save 113 people through the ministries of Bridgewater. Over the same period of time, we have seen 101 people follow God in the obedience of baptism. You see, throughout all of the changes, many things have remained the same. One of those is God's continued faithfulness to Bridgewater. Let me share 3 specific examples of how God has demonstrated His faithfulness. Over these last 20 months, there have been times when we've had to close down our physical facilities because of COVID. One time, that closure lasted 4 months. I am so grateful to God for our online campus that was able to continue operating each week. God demonstrated His faithfulness by allowing us this very effective ministry tool at a time we needed it most. It has allowed us to be able to minister to people wherever they are, even if we could not meet physically. Secondly, God has demonstrated His faithfulness to Bridgewater through the financial generosity of His people. During this time, we have seen our expenses decrease because we've tried to keep spending in check, but we have also seen God provide more than enough to meet our budget. Our giving in 2021 has been averaging $37,271 each week, which is almost $3,000 a week above our budgeted needs. This has allowed us to do some exciting things for the kingdom. We praise God for His faithful provision during these times. Thirdly, God has demonstrated His faithfulness through our staff. Like many organizations, we've experienced some transition in this season. But even in the middle of these transitions, God has demonstrated His faithfulness. Many of our staff have had to work longer hours and even take on more responsibility, but we have seen God use these opportunities to strengthen our bond as a team. I believe our staff is our greatest asset at Bridgewater. We have an incredible team, a strong, unified team, all pulling in the same direction to make more and better disciples of Jesus Christ. Let me share 2 examples of God's faithfulness in our staff. First, we have seen God add a new pastor to our team. Tim Sullivan and his family will be moving here from Michigan in a few weeks to join us. Tim has accepted the role of Conklin campus pastor and will be starting in early November. We are so thankful to God for His faithfulness in this search process, and we can't wait to see the good things God has in store for our Bridgewater Conklin campus. Secondly, 2 of our pastors, Matt Poozer and Josh Jones, have taken on a significant amount of additional leadership responsibility and authority as a part of Bridgewater's directional leadership team. I am so grateful to God for both of these godly men. I believe Bridgewater is better when it is led by a team. Leading together has been such an encouragement to me. God's faithfulness to Bridgewater is one thing that has not changed over these last 20 months. Another thing that has not changed is our mission. We believe God is still calling us to make more and better disciples in northeastern Pennsylvania and the southern tier of New York. We believe God is not done using Bridgewater Church to accomplish the mission that He laid out in Matthew 28:19, where He said, "Go and make disciples." We are one church, meeting in multiple locations, all with the same mission of seeing lives changed for Christ. Here's a story of how we have watched God accomplish His mission in the lives of people at Bridgewater.
Grew up in a church. As a kid, just had a lot of questions about the story of Jesus, and I think I annoyed a lot of people with the questions I had. And so as I got a little bit older, there was some abuse that happened in my life, and I just started asking a lot of questions like, why would something like this happen if God was there? From that point on, I was skeptical, and so drifted away from the church, drifted away from God. I just didn't think that this God thing could be for me to have something like that happen. So fast forward some time, I get married, just making my own decisions, just doing what I thought was right for me and what I wanted. And started having some serious consequences in relationships and in my marriage. And just at one point had some problems, and I remember my wife saying, like, you need to fix this. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna change because I've tried everything and I got to this point. So I felt very, very alone and ashamed for some of my behavior that I had done, and embarrassed. I remember praying like, I don't know what to do, God, and I need to change, and I'm not really sure where to go and what I'm supposed to do, but I want to. And like 2 days later, I walk into a coffee shop and I see this gentleman there, and I say, you know, I see you here all the time. What are you doing? And he says, well, I'm writing a sermon on change. And I'm like, I literally just prayed about, like, I don't know how to change, and I'm going to God for this, and here's this person who's writing a sermon on change. Like, I need to know what this is. And it was like a magnet. I had to know what the sermon was he was writing. I was craving it. He invites me to church and says, you know, maybe you should check out the sermon. If you have these questions, maybe you want to hear the sermon. At this point, I feel like I'm at as low as I could get, and I go, okay, I'll come check it out. So I sit down at the sermon, and the pastor was talking right to me. I didn't know there's anybody else in the room. What he was saying applied to me, and I go, oh, there's something here. This is not what I remember. This is different than what I remember, and the things that I'm hearing are good, and they're true. And I remember I came back and I said to my wife, like, I think we need to go here. I mean, it was very overwhelming to me that I needed to accept Jesus as my Savior. I hadn't done that. And so beginning of March 2019, I called the pastor, said I got some questions, and I said I'd like to come talk to you. So I went and talked to him. I didn't know what else to do, and I said, I'm willing to do whatever. And he goes, I think you need to accept God into your heart. And I said, I think you're right. And so that was it, just right there at somebody's kitchen table. What I've come to realize is, for me, I need to take all of my worries and stresses, and I need to take them to God and say, I'm struggling here. I don't see a way out. I'm leaving this on your shoulders, and just tell me what to do. My life has changed. 180 degrees turn doesn't do it justice. It's completely different in an amazing way. There is no reason why I met somebody randomly that is speaking something directly to my heart. That's not a coincidence. There's no other explanation other than God.
Hi, Bridgewater. Next week, we begin a 5-part series from the book of Exodus. We're so excited to begin this study together, and Exodus has been on our mind for quite a while. One of the themes you can trace through the book of Exodus is God's faithfulness to His people. Time and time again, they encounter difficulty, pressure, danger, and exposure. They wrestle with doubt. They complain. They're afraid. They feel abandoned. They cry out to God, and even sometimes against God. Yet we see that He never leaves them. He never forsakes them. He not only is with them, but He's guiding them. He's protecting them. He's sustaining them. Listen to these words from Exodus 13, 21 and 22. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or night. Neither the pillar of cloud by day nor the pillar of fire by night left its place in front of the people. They were doing what God had asked of them, and yet were fearful because they faced danger and an uncertain future. They had words for God's man, Moses, yet God, through Moses, had words for them too. Listen to these words from Exodus 14, 10 to 14. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." God delivered them and sustained them. He provided water, manna, this bread from heaven, quail, and a law to live by. Though they rebelled against him, he sustained them still. We read in Deuteronomy 29:5 that in the 40 years of wandering through the wilderness, their clothes and their shoes never wore out. And it would only be a matter of time before God brought them to the promised land. What's amazing is that this is true for us as well. Not unlike the people of Israel, we too encounter danger, difficulty, pressure, confusion, and wonder at times, where is God in the midst of it? We wonder if he'll come through for us. Where is our water? Where is our manna? Where is God's provision? And knowing we would be prone to doubt and discouragement the same way the people of Israel were, God used Paul to pen these words for us in 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 4. "For I do not want you to be ignorant of the fact, brothers and sisters, that our ancestors were all under the cloud, and they all passed through the sea. They were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. They all ate the same spiritual food and drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was Christ." Bridgewater Church, this has been a trying time for us. Living on mission is hard enough, but when you add the dynamic of COVID-19 and the tensions of our national and global landscape, it becomes increasingly difficult. But take heart. God has not left us alone. He will provide for us the way he provided for them. Our clothes and our shoes will not wear out. He will see us through and has given evidence of that to us through this past year over and over again. The mission has not changed. Jesus is leading and sustaining his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. He is devoted to his people and is working his plan. There is much that is uncertain, but God's faithfulness is certain. We can count on him to lead and to guide, to protect and sustain, to make us effective and multiply our efforts, and ultimately to bring us home. We are his church, so let's go be the church until that day.
It was about a year and a half ago. We were whitewater rafting. We were doing okay. Well, then we got to the end and we met up with the other rafters from another group.
They had caught up to us. And as they were coming down, we couldn't get going fast enough, and then their boats just, them big rafts just went right over top of those inflatable kayaks, and it just put us right under.
I got pinned underneath and I couldn't come up because the boats were on top of me. And I just sat there and I just said, "Dear God, please save me." I said, "I will do anything. Just reach out, grab me." And next thing I know, I was awake and two little boys had pulled me into their boat and I had made it through that. After the event, I just prayed to him every night and I said, "Just please save me." And I said, "Reach out to my husband someday and show him the way and just to guide me."
I had seen online for a course called Biblical Citizenship, and the founding fathers had put so much of the Bible into forming the Constitution. So I finished that, but then I had so many questions about Jesus, and I got up and went out for a walk, went down the road, and the Jen and Chris Cheney were outside, so I stopped and talked to them and started asking them questions about Jesus and the Bible and everything, and they had invited me to come to church with them here at Bridgewater, and I think it was 2 weeks later that I was able to find myself coming through the doors. And I think I actually came here 2 weeks before I even told her what I was doing.
I just said to him, I said, you went where? And he said, I went to church with the Cheneys. So the ones I came and saw and just amazed the welcome we got and, the ministry. And I said to him, I said, I hope we can still keep going.
After attending church for a couple of weeks, I signed up with the small group. They were able to answer a lot of questions.
So the small group was coming to an end. Chris and Renee said that they were going to be doing a starting point class, and we met weekly, and it was amazing what we learned and what faith we grew. So the third week into it, Renee, we had a questionnaire she had us do to see where our faith was, and we had answered the questions, and she said, I think you two are ready to accept Christ, and we said, yes, we are. So we accepted Christ as our Savior that day, and then we wanted to go on to be baptized to show everybody our faith.
That's one of the beautiful things about this place. As soon as you walk through that door, as soon as you walk through that door, it's just all the love that you feel from everybody. Greeted with such warmth, and everybody wants to say hi to you and good morning and how you doing, and it's so infectious that we tend to stand out there and greet everybody coming in also. It's just so wonderful.
But if there's anybody out there struggling and they really, really need help, just find a church, find someone to talk to. It's just the best thing that they can ever do. I never in a million years thought that anybody would ever turn him around. I never did. Yes, that's what he does, yes.
Sneaky.
Hello, Bridgewater. My name is Matt. I serve as the Halstead campus pastor and on Bridgewater's directional leadership team. Isn't it incredible to hear how God is changing lives? I am so grateful to be a part of what God is doing. To say that God has poured out his blessings on us feels like an understatement at times. If you've been around Bridgewater for the last several years, you may already know this, but if you're new to Bridgewater, you may not know that in 2015, as an organization, we had $2.2 million in debt from building projects and expansions. The money we borrowed enabled us to reach the rapidly growing number of people that God was allowing us to influence. However, we believed God was leading us to pay off the debt as our next step. The goal was to be debt-free by the end of 2020. And because of your extreme generosity and God opening the floodgates in December of 2020, Bridgewater paid off its final note and officially became debt-free. Isn't it amazing that even in the midst of the pandemic and shutdowns, God provided and we are debt-free? One of the reasons this gets us really excited is because we believe God is not done reaching the region of New York and PA with the good news about Jesus. We are praying with great anticipation about where God would lead us next. One of our core values at Bridgewater is we give because he gave. We believe we have been the recipients of the greatest act of generosity ever through Jesus dying on the cross for us. Beyond that, we've experienced extreme generosity through God's financial provision. Over the last several years, we asked you, as the people of Bridgewater, to consider giving above and beyond to our vision campaigns to help with expansions and paying down debt. This year, we're turning the tables and feel it is our time to be above and beyond generous to others. Through prayer and much consideration, we believe we have been led to meet a need for the Simons family, which is one of our global partners in India. We were made aware of a huge personal need. See, their home has been condemned and they're in need of a new one. Imagine trying to serve and carry out your ministry while having no place to call home. And unfortunately, the price of property and building in India is astronomical. In just a few minutes, we'll watch a video that explains more about the ministry, but here is the need. They need $150,000 for a new home. $28,000 of that has already been raised, but $122,000 remain to begin building. We believe so strongly in the work that they are doing in India that Bridgewater leadership has decided to lead the way and meet the need by providing all they need to build their home. Because of how God has positioned us being debt-free this year, we plan to meet the entire need. We believe it is an investment that helps move the mission of making more and better disciples forward. While we plan to meet this need, there are other needs from our other ministry partners like CareNet and others that we would love to meet. If you would like to join in giving or find out more information, you can head to bridgewater.church/vision to find out more. We have a quick video for you explaining the ministry in India and why we believe it is a valuable investment. Let's take a look.
The goal of Independent Gospel Baptist Churches of India is to make more and better disciples of Jesus. Bridgewater has supported this ministry for over 30 years. Before the pandemic, they were starting 2 to 5 new churches every year. And the engine of this growth is Kerala Bible College, which graduates about 20 students annually, most of which become pastors in existing or new Indian churches. An organization that tracks religious persecution ranks India as the 10th most difficult country in the world to be a Christian. Here's the story of one of their 2020 master's degree graduates, Kiro. I grew up in a Hindu family and became a follower of Jesus in 2010. I was thrown out of my home. I now speak with my parents occasionally over the phone, but I'm not permitted to enter their house. The village authorities forced my father to sign an agreement so that he and my family can remain in the village. My burden is for my family members and my people. Although I'm now permitted to go to my village, I can't go home, but I want them to know the Lord. So how can we best help this ministry now? Recently, Saju Simon's house was condemned. Saju is the president of the denomination, and he focuses on helping the pastors of the 50-plus existing churches, while his brother Shabu focuses on the Bible college and church planting. Not wanting to take funds away from the college and church, he, his wife, his mom, and their 2 junior high boys have been living in a very small place with no privacy, not even to go to the bathroom. In August, they were crying out to God about their need, and the boys were literally crying. And Saju said, "Sons, we don't know when or if God will ever allow us to have our own home again, but we need to be thankful for what we have." Land is incredibly expensive in India. With our help in 2018, one of their churches purchased 0.17 acres for $74,000. That's $435,000 an acre. It's much cheaper to build a new home on the land they already own than to buy an old home on land they don't own. And so when hearing of our desire to help them have their own home again, Saju began to cry. And he said, "It is so overwhelming that God is answering our prayers while my boys are still home."
Thanks for tuning in today. Won't you join us as we continue to sing?
Let praise be a weapon that conquers all anxiety. Let it rise. Let praise arise. We sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. Let it rise. Praise arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. For fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Let faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise. Let faith arise. is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. For fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lifting high. When all creation cry, God, we praise you. We'll see you break through every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. For fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lifting high. When all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. We praise you.
We truly serve an amazing God. If He has positioned you this year to be over the top generous with us and want to know more about how you can get involved, you can go to bridgewater.church/vision because there are more needs out there that we would love to meet as a church. We hope you enjoyed today. We pray it both encouraged and inspired you. It's amazing to hear about a God doing what only God could do. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.